Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'd like to open our meeting tonight with the call of Pledge of Allegiance for January 25th, 2023, Village of Holly's Planning Commission meeting. Would all stand, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Okonski,
Here.
Christian,
Here.
Lacey,
Here.
Kaskala,
Here.
Campbell,
Here.
Wallace,
Here.
DeSessa,
Here.
Kinnaman.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, item 3, approval of the agenda. Is there anything amiss on the agenda that anybody saw?
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, so moved. Approval of the minutes from November 23rd, 2022, last year. Unfortunately, I was not here, so I don't have an opinion.
I move to approve the minutes as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, so approved. Have a volunteer to read our statement of purpose, please.
I'll do it. Let's see if I get this on where you can hear me. The mission of the Holly Village government is to enhance our community's quality of life. Our organization strives for quality services, responsive action to citizen requests, and a cost-effective government. We promote citizen participation, proactive decision-making, and environmental quality. Most importantly, we shall always serve the citizens of Holly. The Village of Holly will be a prestigious historical village that is a green residential oasis from the city and the center of commerce and activity for the region.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, going on to public comment. If there is anything that the public would like to get up and bring to the attention of the board or the commission, please do so by going up to the microphone, stating your name and address. This would be items that are not on the agenda. You will be given time to discuss anything you may have on that you have concerns about on the agenda at the time before we vote.
Hi there, Pat Feeney, 210 Franklin Street. I come before you tonight to bring up the, see if there might be any kind of thoughts on the Falk Road dump. I believe maybe the Planning Commission would be the right place for us to start looking at long-term use of the property and, you know, finding out exactly what the property can be used for. If there's anything that needs to be done to secure the property. I think as Ms. Wallace will tell you, as the other day when she was out there, that the property is wide open. There's no fencing, there's really no signage whatsoever that says anything. And not to be mean to anybody, but it's quite absurd to say that property is anywhere close to being secure. Don't mean to put Ms. Wallace on the spot here, but the fact was, she went out there to take some pictures, and she actually sent me a picture and said, "Is this the dump?" That's how you'd have a hard time going out there figuring out exactly where it's at. I don't know if there's anything you can do with that immediately, securing the property with fencing and signage. I don't know if that falls under the Planning Commission, but I think long-term, I'd like to see the Planning Commission have the professional planners come up with some uses for the property. You know, right now it's a liability. Let's see if there's a possibility that somewhere down the line it's not a liability, that it actually could be used for something. Now it's going to be a long-term project because right now they're still testing. You know, I don't know if there'll ever be a true cleanup of it. Unfortunately, we don't have a unicorn. It's a dump, so we know there's stuff in there that's not, you know, not good to people. So I would like to see if, you know, there'd be developed a plan that could be brought before the Planning Commission to discuss about what the long-term possibilities are. You know, what other places have done, you know, how they financed it. Once again, I don't know if that falls under the Planning Commission, but I'm sure the planners could give you an idea where you probably start looking for funds for something on that. But, you know, I've been going in front of the village council about concerns about the fencing and this lack of any idea of, if you're looking at the property, that it's a dump. They've had people that lived next to that dump for years that didn't even know it was there. I mean, literally next door to it. We're not talking about, down the road or anything. And I think it's time for us to be, as a community, to take that property under consideration, considering it is in our master plan. It's just as much a piece of property as Lakeside Park or Waterworks Park. And I think it's time that we do something to minimize at least the liability for it and see what the potentials are in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Good, if I can respond real quick.
Sure.
This planning commission, sir, did, to your point, several months ago, tell me if I'm wrong, add this to our planning commission master plan for exactly that purpose. Forward-looking planning to see what we can do funding-wise, if we can pool our resources somehow with other agencies to do some testing out there at the dump, at least, moving forward. So that is, as I understand it, was added to the master plan that we approved at this level. And so the other thing I would say is that thankfully there's a lot of testing going out there for PFAS. Well, at least it's got it started, is my understanding. I'm not saying it's meeting everybody's, and I don't want to get into that debate tonight, but from our level, we have acted proactively on that. I'm not saying everything's done and tied with a nice ribbon, but we have taken some action at this level.
The process is, how polluted it is, and any other
Yeah.
questions with the water. That's a long-term project.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the future of the property,
Right.
which, as you said, is under the master plan. And you come up with a plan that future
Right.
village councils could deal with. I'm
Yep.
sorry for
Right.
Yep.
kind of out of line there.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? All right, no one else stepping forward. Let's move on to the public hearing, item 7. Need a motion to open public hearing?
I will move. So move.
All right, we have a motion to open public hearing.
I'll second.
We have second. Roll call, please.
DeSessa.
Yes.
Christian.
Yes.
Lacy.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Cascola.
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Kinnaman.
Yes.
Okonski.
Yes. Public hearing is now open. Right now, the public hearing is item 2023-001, consideration for site plan review for the property located at 3526 Grange Hall Road, Holly, Michigan, parcel ID IH0128427043. Is there anyone in the public that has anything they'd like to come in before the board, the commission, and talk about? Any considerations or any concerns? Seeing no one rush the microphone, need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
I will second.
Roll call, please.
Lacy.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Christian.
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Cascola.
Yes.
DeSessa.
Yes.
Kinnaman.
Yes.
Okonski.
Yes, public hearing is now closed. Old business, nothing being on item 8. Going on to new business, election of officers. So, it's that time of year again.
Already?
And last, meeting I was not here, but Mr. Jim Clark resigned, and he was our secretary. So that's definitely a position that is open anyhow. Is there anyone that would desire to put their hat in the ringer for chair?
I can for secretary.
Okay,
Secretary, that'd be good. I'll
anyone?
make the motion to nominate Ms. Lacy for secretary.
I'll second.
Okay. Let's have a roll call on that, I guess. If there's no one else that'd like to put their hat in the ring.
Cascola.
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Kinnaman,
Yes.
DeSessa,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Okansky.
Yes, and thank you. Moving on, Vice Chair. Our current Vice Chair is also our council liaison. Is there anyone that would like to throw their hat in the ring for Vice Chair?
I would like to nominate Richard to stay.
I would like to second that. He's the only one that's on
Richard,
council. I'm not
are
on
you
council,
willing to
so
stay as
can't be a
vice chair?
liaison.
Sure.
Is there anyone else that would like to step forward? Let's have roll call on Richard continuing as Vice Chair.
Kinnaman,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Kaskala,
Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
DeSessa,
Yes.
Kinnaman,
Yes.
Okansky. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the other
Vote twice.
Well,
Still a yes.
we're missing a member.
For me, I can vote
I
twice.
think I was the other one, so be me. And yes. Skip me.
Campbell, yes, thank you.
And also myself, so yes, I am voting yes, and thank you again for stepping forward. Moving on to Chair. I really would love someone else to
Nominate.
step forward,
Stop. Nominate you again?
so
Would you consider being the chair again, please?
I would do so, but like I said, I'd like to have someone have an opportunity.
You've been doing a great job.
I will so nominate Mr. Okansky. Chair.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
DeSessa,
Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Kaskala,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Kinnaman,
Yes.
Okansky.
Yes.
I like the energy in that.
Say, good try.
Okay. All right, so we have our responsibilities for this coming year. And I, again, want to thank the commission and the members for their volunteering of their time and their current positions and the people that are going to serve as officers. Thank you for your time. Moving on to item 10B. Item 2023-001, consideration for a site plan review for the property located at 3526 Grange Hall Road, Holly, Michigan, parcel ID IH0128427043. Corey, would you love to give up and I see we have new plans in front of us. I'm assuming some of the items that were on the old plans were addressed.
So yes, from my letter that went out a few weeks ago, some items have been addressed, and the applicant will be able to speak to the others. So opening up, this is for a special use permit at 1125 North Saginaw Road for a new gas station in the C district. It's the commercial district. In terms of informational items, the remaining deficiencies, number 17, floor plans and elevations do not appear to be provided. I believe the applicant will be able to speak onto that issue. 24, specifications for hazardous material storage do not appear to be provided. In further communications with the applicant, they will be able to provide all those details in subsequent emails. It sounds, or subsequent follow-ups. It sounds like they're still getting some of those details figured out in terms of the number and size of storage. The same goes for item 30. For 25, a notation of variances needed does not appear to be provided. It looks as though a variance will be needed for the rear yard setback. The plans indicate it's only 5 feet. The requirement in this district is 15. 31, delineation of areas on the site which are known or suspected to be contaminated. It's unclear if any information has been provided in terms of contamination or necessary cleanup on site. Item 34, elevations do not appear to be provided. It's unclear what kind of, if there will be any mechanical equipment on the roof, and if so, how that will be screened. Moving on to zoning compliance issues. Reception antennas, will there be any reception antennas? Exterior lighting, what is the height of the primary building? Exterior lights may not exceed the height of the primary structure, and no greater than 20 feet. Performance standards, speaking with the applicant, they've agreed to add a statement to the site plans to this effect. They just need to provide a statement indicating they will comply with the ordinance requirements for sound, vibration, odor, gases, etc. Schedule of regulations, this is where I point out that the rear yard setback is 15 feet and what they have on the plans is 5 feet. So that issue will have to be addressed before any kind of approval. Specific requirements for special land uses. For gas stations of this type, a written statement describing the measures that are going to be undertaken to prevent groundwater contamination must be provided. For waste receptacle and mechanical equipment screening, it's unclear how mechanical equipment will be screened. And then lastly, village design standards. Without the elevations, I can't verify whether or not the plans will comply with the village design standards. Those are the requirements, like the windows in terms of the percentage of clear transparency or building materials. Without the elevations, I can't verify any of that. So with that, are there any questions for me?
Anybody? I don't think so.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
We'll probably have questions come up as we discuss.
Okay. I guess in regards to the applicant, with all the items that are still in deficiency, does anyone want to get up and speak to that regard?
Good evening, thanks for showing up.
Name and address,
My
too,
trip
please.
down here to be in vain, because the highway was horrible.
I hear you.
Dennis Benashak, I work for D&M Site, I'm the engineer on this project. You've seen, if you look at your plans, you've seen the property on the left side of the sheet already. As that project is moving forward, I'm getting comments from the review engineers that I'm updating the plans as we go. So the reason you got the new set of plans tonight is the groundwater contamination issue is being mitigated by brand new curb and gutter and 2 catch basins right at the property line. The curb and gutter will catch when any spill. The catch basins will take it, the catch basin to the north is actually what's called an ADS Barracuda unit. It's primarily used to remove suspended solids, dirt and grit, so that they're not getting into the rain garden. But it also has the capacity to store 250 gallons of any spilled hydrocarbons. Anything more than that's going to be a hazmat issue, and I can't protect against that. So that was the primary issue with giving you a new set of plans, so that you can see that. If you look at the cover sheet, there is a note concerning the noise, vibration, odors. Put that on there as Corey requested. So that's, I don't have anything else in terms of contamination, and I'm going to let somebody who knows more about this site than I can speak to it.
Good evening. I'm David Roser. I'm part owner of Marathon Fuel Oil Company, which is proposing to do this job site. We have done no environmental investigation at this location. As you all know, this has been a petroleum service station for eons of time. So we are not anxious to discover anything until we're ready to put the shovel in the ground, if you would. When we decide to remove the existing underground storage tanks, we'll have an environmental company on site as the tanks are removed. We have insurance. We have $1 million worth of environmental insurance. Our deductible on the $1 million insurance is $2,000 or $3,000. So we have virtually $1 million coverage on environmental issues. We've done no investigation off-site. Now, somebody had mentioned that there was known existing contamination. I'm not aware of that. But that is our environmental approach to it. In regards to the underground storage tank, the tank will be a double-walled fiberglass tank with interstitial monitoring. That means the secondary tank will have a continuous monitoring going on electronically monitored through an electronic tank device. All spill protection at the fill point will be there. All the piping will be double-walled piping. Containment under the pumps for any leakage there, that will also be electronically monitored at the pump, at the dispenser area. There's a pan under there that directly feeds back into a sump. The sump contains where the submersible pump is. That is also monitored. We will be using state-of-the-art monitoring systems for any spills. In respects to potential overfills, all tanks have overfill devices in them today that will automatically shut off at 90% or 95%, depending on what the state requires in this area. So we'll have automatic shutoffs in the tanks that will stop the flow of petroleum products being put into the tank if the tank experiences a potential overfill condition. What happens then is we shut off at the tanker, and it has a little discharge hole internally that allows us to drain off the hole and discontinue the fuel delivery. We will be using anything and everything that's available in today's environment for safety in regards to spills, overfills, leakage, monitored every which way you can imagine. But again, we'll be using state-of-the-art.
Okay, is there any reason why that wasn't presented on the plans? As far as your intentions, as far as the, the tanks and the double wall and all the safety precautions that were, that you just so stated, so that we know what's going in the ground versus your communication verbally?
Well, we're required by state law to do all the devices we are just recited. And there, I have no reason to know why we didn't have it on the site plan.
Okay.
We have not done the elevation, we've not done a building presentation to you. With the request of the village of putting in the right-hand turn lane, it has changed the dynamics of what we can do on that piece of property. The right-hand turn lane was strongly recommended when we went through some preliminary reviews. It's going to be very costly, it's going to be very expensive to put in, and it moved our thoughts on the building, placement of the building, placement of the pumps, placement of the canopy. Everything had to be rethought on that. Consequently, we kind of were running out of time, so we didn't get and we don't have a design yet for the building. It'll be aesthetically well done. It'll be very pleasing. I know you want to see it before anything happens. That's not a problem. But the right-hand turn lane has been a significant impact to the development of this property.
Okay.
Is that right-hand turn lane gonna greatly increase, this might be a silly question, but how far that curb line moves in? Because there, I mean, as it is right now,
That's
about 50% of the people in town already use a right-hand turn lane right there. You can get two cars. in
But it's
that
not
lane.
illegal, but it's not a legal lane.
No, I know that. I'm just curious what the buffer is, like, how much has to be added.
That was at the requirement of the Oakland County Road Commission. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
And so that is a huge right-hand turn lane. They've accommodated that to accommodate semi-trucks. So
For the turn radius.
The turn radius and the
Yeah.
curb bumps and all
Okay,
the
that's what
things
it
that
is.
go with it.
Okay.
That's
This
one of the
is
things,
the
when we
difference.
preliminarily did
This
our
is
first drawings on this,
current.
we had a turn lane in there, but it was not as big
This
as
might
this
be
is.
current,
As you
but this
notice,
is
as you
new.
head south, it's got a huge taper in it, and that taper is one of the reasons that everything had to move back. That's why we encroached on the 5 foot against the 15-foot. We're getting squeezed. We're getting squeezed on that piece of property, believe it or not. And that is the primary reason that we're getting squeezed on that property.
here's the previous.
Just curious, the underground tanks, are they the same size?
Are they gonna be the
This
same
gray
size?
is
I believe we're
previous.
proposing a 30,000 gallon tank. There'll be one tank. There'll be one underground storage tank. It will have 4 compartments, Jeff? 4 compartments. It's a split tank, but it's all in one encasement. And each section will be monitored of that tank.
These monitoring systems and the dual wall
there
tanking,
now.
is this relatively new technology or is it kind of tried and true?
No, it's tried and true. It's been around a long time. It's new installations, it's required to be put in. On old installations, you can retrofit them if you're required to, but no, this is not new technology. It's enhanced continuously.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 2 tanks there now? What's there now?
At the existing station,
Yeah.
three 6,000 gallon underground tanks.
So you're anticipating on finding a bunch of contamination down there? Is that why you're waiting, you mentioned?
You can't answer
That's a
that.
loaded question for me. It's been a service station for many years. To think that it's a pristine site would be unrealistic.
Okay, I guess where I was leading to is,
Pardon me?
will the $1 million be sufficient, you believe?
Yes.
Okay.
If it isn't, shoot me. Please.
Do you have any idea how old the tanks that are there are? When was the last time when they were put in?
We do.
That should mitigate some of the contamination,
Pardon me?
somewhat, if you have that kind of knowledge. I mean, if they're somewhat.
Sir, if I could have you come to the podium and state your name and address, please, for the record.
Jeff Forsythe, I work for Oscar W. Larson Company, a petroleum contractor, 10100 Dixie Highway, Clarkston, Michigan. And I can speak to any of the technology aspects of the tanks. The tanks were installed in 1980. As far as technology is concerned, as far as the tank monitoring system, it's tried and true for 35 years, 40 years. And everything from 1988 on has had to be double wall tanks. Now, we have to apply to the state a 45-day plan review before, and they have to approve the site being upgraded with new tanks, and we've applied for that. There's a well consideration. They have a well on the property that they're gonna abandon, that they don't use anymore, and there's one within, how many feet? Within 800 feet, but because it's already a gas station, it meets the criteria that could still stay a gas station. If it was a new site, that we'd have to deal with that well. So, the product lines are double wall, the main lines are double wall, it runs through and they're 1.75 inch in diameter. It runs through a conduit, it's also sealed, so it's all like having triple wall piping. Underneath the pumps, you have sensors, and they're automatic shut-off sensors. So what happens if one of those pumps leaks, it has a float system in it that picks up the gasoline and it shuts the power to that dispenser, so they know right then and there at the station, when they can't pump on it, it alarms them on the register that that pump is out of order. So, and they have to look at it and see what's going on. Then the pipe is sloped to go back to the tank. There's also a sensor at the tank, and the tank monitor also has an alarm that alarms them. So, it's, and the interstice, the piping's monitored. The interstice of the tank, even though you have one tank, it's one interstice system, so no matter where in the tank you have a breach, it'll monitor that. Intrusion from the outside, as well as, you know, the inner tank splitting to the interstice. So it monitors it both ways. There's also an overfill alarm besides the overfill drop tubes. There's an overfill alarm on the outside of the building for the tank truck driver, so he knows, and it's audible, so everybody in the area is gonna know. As far as fumes are concerned, they have to recapture the fumes in the tanker truck. It doesn't go into the atmosphere. There's check valves on top of the vent stacks, and as the tanker is dumping gas, it creates a vacuum in the tank that sucks the fumes back into them. They have to take that back to the refinery, so you don't have that discharge into the air. So it's all pretty substantial technologies they have, you know, for dealing with the contamination, so, or potential contamination.
Thank you.
Is all of that based on like current state and federal regulations?
Yes. Again, it's a state fire marshal has to approve it. We can't do anything without their approval. They won't do any inspections. There's no way to get around them.
Right.
Anybody have any questions?
And the owner has to have insurance in place before they'll operate the station as well, before they'll approve it for operation. Electrical inspector has to have his final electrical inspection. Everybody has to have their checkoff points before that station will be in operation. Okay.
So I guess, at least from my view, with the different standards that we're still not, I guess, having documented on the plans. In order to move anything forward, right, we could consider what's on your site plans as far as envelope goes, even though you would still need your variance for your setback, okay? And since we would be able to look at the envelope only, which would really get us off ground zero.
The reason that we're presenting this without any architectural plans is the actual start date could be as much as a year away. But because of the symbiotic nature with the loom site next door, with the shared dumpsters and with the rain garden retention basin being where all the water from the gas station is gonna end up, we need to establish easements. And the roadsers aren't gonna give us, you know, the easements unless they're assured that this project can move forward with your blessing. Now, as I said in my write-up, there was discussion with the village manager. We said, okay, you want that right-hand turn lane, you're gonna have to let us push the building back. He agreed to that. I don't have anything in writing.
I would like to make a correction there. We do not have jurisdiction on Grange Hall. That is an Oakland County road. We have zero precedence there.
It wasn't that the village manager said anything about the right turn lane, but it was because the right turn lane was going to be designed in.
Per the request of Oakland County Road
We were going to be allowed to move the
Commission.
building back.
Right, yeah.
I was in that
Yeah.
meeting. And
I
that was the
understand.
Oakland County
Right.
Road Commission that is
And I
demanding.
understand that, and and we still need to take that will still need to go to,
Oakland County for approval.
okay, but the building will still need to go to,
Variance for setback.
Unless they shift the building or make the
Right.
building smaller to fit in that.
Yeah,
envelope.
what I'm getting at is, this body does not have the ability to approve that. All right, so
ZBA.
a
ZBA.
variance would be needed for the positioning of the building, okay? And I feel we could move forward on other items, because of coming back before the commission as far as interior of the building, facade, and, the bells and whistles, basically, all right?
Well, just to establish a baseline here, are you going to require us to come back once we have the architectural plans for a site plan approval? Or are we going to be able to do it?
Not for necessary site plan approval, for building approval.
But can that be?
That would be a contingency in the motion of approval to move forward as far as the rest of the site plan goes, and then a contingency for you getting an approved variance from the variance board
Right.
to move forward.
I'm just wondering if once the building, architectural plans and everything are supplied, can that be an administrative approval, or will it have to come back before this board?
That's a question for.
It could be administratively approved as long as everything on there meets the zoning requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We do have a little bit of flexibility that we can do as a board administratively cannot.
Mhm.
So as long as the rest of it's all met, yes, that could be a contingency thereof.
Okay.
So we're
Including
kind
that
of
all my
in
notes.
yeah, we're
I'm
kind of in
making all my
a,
notes here.
you know, obviously,
Yeah. like 10
one of the
minutes,
simple things being, all
motion.
right, a reception antenna. Is there any plans of putting an antenna on top of the building?
What, a generator?
A reception antenna, any type of antenna going on top of the building structure.
No, the only thing will be on the, end of the roof will be air conditioning. heat.
Yeah, the equipment, right, no,
Right.
so that item there would be a simple check item, just saying, you know, on your plans, no antenna's gonna be on top of the building, so that would alleviate that item. The exterior lighting, primarily because we don't have an elevation of the building, as long as you're meeting the elevation of the building, not to exceed a 2-story and a footage, that again goes back to the architectural plans that could be done administratively. The light pole height is based on the building height, so again, that's part of it. It's that all chasing the tail type thing. The sound standards, you already had on your item.
The lighting, since we're gonna be using a canopy, that's canopy lights.
Right.
The other lights around the site were the decorative, fixtures that were requested.
Okay.
So
And-
it's on your
Those
photometric
are-
plan.
Right, and that, on here, we're all good with that.
Okay.
All right, but there again, you know, as part of the dog and tail with not having an elevation and not knowing your photometry, so if you're lighting, because of not knowing an elevation, we can't say, oh yeah, you're good.
No, I
You
understand.
know, so that could all be done administratively. As far as contamination goes, that could be a provision that we put in the amendment saying that, that you will, mitigate any contamination that is found at the time. As far as the safety requirements for the tanking and all that, again, we can administratively say, as long as you meet all state and federal standards, you know, we'll be good to go there. I think that just about addresses everything. So, Mr. Note Taker,
Oh my gosh. So I'm looking at,
anybody else have any other questions or concerns?
Yes, sir, one question. Easements will be in place before any type of work will get done on the
That would be-
usage of the.
That would be part of the motion
Okay.
that they come up with a agreed upon easement with the.
For water and waste and everything else.
Well, plus both parking lots, they can
They're
use,
gonna be
cars
joined.
can
Yep.
drive from one to the other, so there'll be a joint ingress egress easement. That sort of stuff will be in place.
Because I know on the property you're talking about with their site plan, one of the items there, that was a item that has to be addressed in the future because of your project, okay?
Exactly.
Was the aggregate going back to where the dumpster area was, needs to be pavement. But until your part is done, that couldn't be dictated either, so that was an item that has to be addressed
This
also.
has been a very unique project for me.
yeah.
Corey, is there anything I missed?
No, I think you got it. My biggest concern is that rear yard setback, because there's no way for this body to.
Yeah, we can't do that, so.
Right.
So as long as you address that in your motion, as well as the other outstanding issues, I think you got it.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things that we can send to or leave for administration. The hazardous material storage, that's still hazardous material is 30. Items 24, 30. Now, the actual floor plans and those designs, will that have to come back here, or can we administratively do that?
You can administratively do that. The purpose of the floor plan is for parking calculations.
Okay, so that can be So basically 17, 24, 30, 31, and 34, and then other items in the compliance would be in the architectural drawings administratively approved. Do we say unless something is?
Just meeting the zoning requirements.
As long as they meet our zoning requirements. Okay?
And if you could add a statement describing measures to prevent groundwater contamination and receipt of the variance to the rear yard.
Yep. Okay, so, let's make a motion to approve. I need to see what the actual title of this place is again. On my, I want this.
You want to take it?
I want it from this. I make a motion to approve the site plan review for the property located at 3526 Grange Hall Road, parcel ID IH 0128427043, with the following items. First, that all federal, state, county, and local standards and permits will be turned in for administrative review, as well as items 17, 24, 30, 31, 34, and site plans, architectural drawings to be reviewed administratively, subject to meeting current village standards. That an easement agreement is made with the adjoining property and provided to administration, and that the variance on the building setback be approved through ZBA. Anything I'm missing?
Letter about contamination, just a statement how they're gonna address contamination.
Are you talking a spill type of contamination?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's items 24 and 30, which,
sorry. The special land use specific requirements, is what I'm talking about. 157 and 130.
130, and all of that can be administratively, I basically said all zoning compliance items.
Pertaining to
In-
the letter,
Pardon me?
pertaining to the road letter.
Right, pertaining to this letter.
Okay.
So I basically said all of this is administratively monitored.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Lacy,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Cascola,
Yes.
DeSessa,
Yes.
Kinnaman,
Yes.
Okonski.
Yes. All right.
Step one done for you guys.
And so I guess, from my opinion, your next move really is the ZBA for the setback. And I think from that point then, providing it's approved, that then we can sail forward and get everything rolling.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your time and your investment.
Thank you.
Yep.
If I may,
Sir?
having been a planning commissioner myself back in Bay City, the chairman always is the short straw guy.
You know, sometimes you just say you don't have too many smarts. All right,
Or just can't say.
moving on to item 10C, Jeremy Watson's Fire Marshal's Annual Report for 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Orkonski. Real quick brief, as we do every year, we just go over the cases that were brought to this board during the 2022 year. And I'm not going to beat this up or go verbatim through the sheet, but each one of we met 8 times last year. We conducted 10 public hearings and considered 3 separate requests for either site plan review or amending the zoning ordinance. So once again, this lined up almost verbatim as it did in 2021. And I would anticipate that it would be the same for 2023, if not more. Holly's growing rapidly with several new developments coming before this board in the future, and it's exciting to see. So if there's any questions pertaining to the annual report, I'd be happy to address each one of those items individually. If not, then we can carry on through the agenda.
Nothing to the report until we get staff comments.
Do we approve that report, recommend it on to council?
You can recommend that on to council. It will be moved forward if you do.
I would make a motion that we recommend the report to the council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Saying no? We're good, and I want to thank you for your efforts too, Mr. Watson.
He's not even listening.
I know.
He's not listening.
You
You
just
just
got
got thanked.
You just said thank you.
So thank you for being a good guy.
Thank you. Me or Corey?
Yes.
You.
Well, both really, but hey.
Well, before we move on, Mr. Orkonski, I would like to say, we do have a member in the audience tonight in the back. His name is Alex, and I'm not going to slaughter his last name. I'll go ahead and let him say it. Redku. He was part of the Main Street program with Oakland County probably 15, 20 years ago. He has hired on with Rowe. Corey is going to continue to work for Rowe, but they are mixing up their planners with communities as far as geographical locations. Corey is coming from northern county, and his commute is, especially on a day like today, is a little bit farther for him. And Alex is a little closer to the village of Holly, and with his history with the village, Rowe has decided to move Alex into Corey's position. So moving forward with this board, I'm sure Corey will be there on standby. I know he will be in my phone, but we would also like to welcome Alex in the future, I would assume, as Rowe progresses in the near future. So just as you see some eyes in the audience that, we've done many, many meetings here and had nobody in the audience, so just to put some faces and names together.
Okay.
So I appreciate that.
Nice meeting you, thank you. And when will the transition happen?
So for a little bit, maybe a month or 2.
Yeah, next month you'll still see both of us here. We'll probably both be presenting next month, and then after that, we might move on over to Alex.
I just came back in Michigan 2 months ago today, actually, so.
Good timing.
So, new Rowe for quite a while, and I love Holly. I spent a lot of time here working with Main Street. I knew Nick as well back in the day, and all the other executive directors you had, and I knew Jerry from even Wall Lake, because I had history in Wall Lake as well. So Holly's a special place. We worked on that Imagine Midtown Downtown project.
Charette.
Charette was lead on that. And I'm just glad to be here and learn from Corey what's going on, and the staff, and meet all of you, and just came in to just observe and took a tour around town and kind of down memory lane for me and seeing all the progress happen. I'm really happy a lot of the work from the Imagine Downtown and Midtown project has come to light. So I applaud you guys in this community. It's your community, and you guys have been great stewards of it. I haven't been back in 5 years, so now it's happy to see that.
Thank you. I do have one question though. Whatever happened with the lady with child?
We're just gonna ask you, how's she doing?
Caitlin?
Yeah.
Caitlin, yes.
I believe part-time role right now, but Corey is, took over and then
Right.
kind of shifted around a little bit, but Corey's not going away, don't believe me, he's
Yes.
not. I'm gonna walk out my office and, Corey, help me.
And Corey's been a great asset to us and this board and the ZBA as well. So I'd like to applaud Corey for his efforts.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree. Thank you. All right, look forward to working with you. Both for a while. All right, item number 10 is training. Everyone probably got emails about, some continuing training for website. The safety and protocols. Matter of fact, I don't know. I ended up getting an email, and I almost felt like it was a baited email from the IT people just to see if you clicked on it or not.
Well,
So-
please don't ever open an email unless you know exactly who it is from. We've been doing some extensive IT training at the village. They're out there, right? So please, your personal computers, if you do not recognize either myself, Corey, Alex, Nick Klemp, anybody in our administration that's sending you these emails, go ahead and delete it, or do not open it and contact one of us directly for how to proceed moving forward.
I guess one of my questions was, I did not delete it, I did not open it.
Perfect.
However, is that something that the IT department would want to be made aware of, or just leave it and don't bother them because they're not going to do anything about it, technically anyhow, because,
I would assume that, it would be safe to just delete it and move forward.
Okay.
If you continue to get those, then that's when I would say that we would notify IT and do a little bit deeper dive.
Yeah.
I can tell you, just from my title and being in this municipality, I've been hacked, spammed. People put my name on things that just because my business cards, right? So I get 30 to 50 emails a day that are suspicious emails. So just be safe with those personal computers of yours at home.
Okay.
And then also going into training, Alex and Corey, I know this board is interested in capital improvement and moving forward with that progress. So Alex sent me some information yesterday regarding some future trainings for this commission and our new commissioners on the processes moving forward with that capital improvement plan. So here in the very near future, as this transition takes place, we'll start to see those capital improvement plan trainings coming to this board in person, not at home on your computer. So just for future.
all right. Moving on, reports, ZBA, anybody, any update? Nothing. DDA,
Oh, we have Mr. Klemp in the house. He may be more than willing to stand up and promote the DDA, because Mr. Kinnaman usually fills in for him. But I know Mr. Klemp has some very exciting events coming into town in the very near future. I think February he has Galen events, along with some other future plans. Would you like to speak?
I'm not, this is the first time I've been here.
Welcome.
Please state your name and address.
For the record.
Nick Clem, 1748 Tannock Drive.
300 East Street.
300 East Street. No, there's a lot of exciting things going on with the DDA right now. We do have, a few events coming up, but also I'm sure you guys noticed some of the work in the downtown moving forward, which has been great. Both of the hotel and Andy's Place have both pulled building permits and are moving forward. Andy's Place they're having some problems getting some materials, of course, but probably within a month or two, they should be getting their roof on, so it'll protect Andy's a little bit better. And then you probably saw that hotel almost has the wall all sealed up, so it's just kind of great seeing that move forward. We have lots of new businesses that have come into the downtown almost immediately as people have moved out. Even before one business moves out, there's someone that wants to go in, and so within the last probably just before Dickens, we've had like 6 new businesses open up within the DDA district. So lots of activity, lots of great things going on.
Galentine's.
Yeah, Galentine's is our first Friday in February, which is the 3rd, I believe. So that's it's basically a ladies' night out in February. So just another excuse for people to come spend money in the downtown.
Thanks, Nick.
By the way, I mean, that's not to be understated, but that's just fabulous news to not have the boarded up businesses downtown. When one business goes, someone else comes in. That's extremely important. So congratulations for that.
I've heard the Moose is getting really close too.
Yep. Moose's close.
They're saying mid-February now.
Creative Fashions is close as well.
Creative Fashions just received their C of O, so they are the first business post-fire that were involved in the fire that has received occupancy permit.
Good.
Fantastic.
And as Ms. Campbell stated, the Moose is next. I think the only thing that we're waiting on is the hood suppression system and the new kitchen equipment. So once that is installed and been inspected, I think the Moose will be serving burgers before we know it.
Council.
Council's been appointing lots of new people all over the place. We have also had, the Ethics Committee has met to begin reviewing some procedures for how an ethics, not necessarily violation, but whether or not something is a violation and the process that's taken through the Ethics Committee. We've begun to review that. The Capital Improvement Committee, is it Capital Committee or something. What's the term?
I'm sorry.
Basically properties. They have a meeting scheduled for the 8th of February. It's a Wednesday night to begin reviewing discussion on new village office location as the school district transitions this building. And so they will be reviewing whether they select another site, whether they construct something, whether they move with the school district to the middle school building, to the Sherman campus, or just what that will be. And this is an initial meeting in that process. Committee meetings are open to the public. There typically is not public comment at a committee meeting.
And it's at 6 o'clock.
It's 6 o'clock on the 8th. It will be in here. Ethics Committee has got their second meeting scheduled for February 21st in that process.
Anything else?
And that, well, I can do comments too, if you want to do it all in one.
Sure, go ahead with
And
comment.
then we don't have to come back.
There's gonna be nothing for Parks Commission that I know of, so we're,
Yeah.
you can start off staff comments. How about
Okay,
that?
or just, Commissioner comments is, once again, Galentine's is coming up. The Chamber just had their annual dinner and honored our honorees for the year. Person of the Year is Angie Lemon, who has attended almost every meeting for decades, as well as volunteered in numerous ways. Family of the Year was the Nick Klemp family, for all that they have done and how many places you see them making a difference in our community. Organization of the Year, the Holly Fire Department. Yes. Especially, we felt that was befitting after leading the project or leading the battle to save our downtown. And then Business of the Year is Shannon Precision Fasteners. They are located out on Dixie Highway. They have just been in the process of completing a 100,000 square foot plus manufacturing building, which is their second of 5 buildings to go on their site. It was a $29 million project, and that one building will employ right around 100 new employees, providing new jobs. When they are completely done with their project, the whole 5 buildings, they're expected to have about 500 employees there, which is a significant difference for our community, as well as their philanthropic endeavors for our community as well in several ways. We have a ribbon cutting for one of those new businesses downtown on Friday at noon. Battle Alley, Junior David's. They are a kind of a home goods, mercantile, and also, and I can never say this right, aropatherapy.
Apothecary.
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 Yeah.
And they actually do on-site mixtures for you.
For aromatherapy?
Helpers.
It's like,
Yeah.
Essential oils.
tinctures and
Yeah.
It's more than just essential oils. It's
Okay.
actual
You're eating this.
tonics
Yeah.
and,
Good.
Stuff.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'll quit.
Unless you got more to go, you're good.
Are they still on both sides on Battle Alley? Because I know that they were taking up 2.
Right, the one on the north side of this road, north side of Battle Alley, is not necessarily a permanent location. They put items in there to help make Battle Alley look full, especially during the Dickens Festival. So if Jeremiah, the owner of that building, has some other tenant, then they would probably move out of that spot, yes.
So your grand opening's gonna be on the south side of the,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. They'll probably have both of them open, but the main business is on the south side. Used to be the L-shaped part, the Battle Alley entrance to the cottage. The cottage opened to both Saginaw as well as Battle Alley, and so it's now 2 separate businesses.
Okay. Galen?
I would like to, I'm sure a lot of you probably know, but Jerry Cole passed away just before the new year. And everybody that knew him in here knows his passion for this town. And he was actually present at every planning, present in the vein of his laptop from his Lazy Boy. But he had the schedule on the side of his refrigerator, and he watched every planning, every parks, every council.
Another Angie Roman.
Yes, yeah, another Larry Lilly, you know.
Larry Lilly, yes.
And he took with him a vast amount of knowledge and history and, you know, like I say, passion for this town. I just thought it was important to pay respects to him, because a lot of times we don't see a lot of people in the audience. We don't know how many people honestly plan their day around being in the chair, having their snacks ready, and it gives them, you know, they're actually looking forward to seeing what's going on in the village. So,
Yeah.
rest in peace, Jerry.
Okay. I guess I'm unfamiliar with the next 2 members.
Introduction time. Hi. I'm Jim Koskela. As Mr. Timman was suggesting or indicating, there are some new members, and I'm one of them that the council just approved. And I think the joke that I've repeated several times from our village manager is now I have some seniority, since there's going to be another vacancy. And Angie's brand new too, so I think I've repeated that about 4 times. If you've heard that joke, I apologize. But as Alex was indicating, this is an important commission, and I'm just kind of I think this is going to get played back at some time in the future, but I'm a selfish person, okay? And I think I'm selfish in the fact that I want a good community for my family to grow up in. I want to make sure we leave this place better than it was when we're done here. And that's all I want to do. So I'm looking forward to learning from everybody and making our village better.
Thank you for volunteering your time.
And I'm Angela Wallace. I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to serve. That's my main focus, is to serve the people of Holly and the village of Holly. I guess a couple of my questions is, I know that in November they had the capital improvement plan. How do I get a copy of that? I know that there was a...
We're actually beginning the process.
Wasn't there like a presentation, or how do I view that? Because I looked online and maybe I just couldn't find it to see where that...
It was a...
Yes.
So I can provide you a copy.
Yeah.
And you can forward it.
Okay.
It sounds like we're actually gonna have some good training on that coming out.
I think the document you're talking about indeed was a copy of the training, if I'm not correct. So you'll be receiving that. We all will, I think, from the sound of it.
Okay.
I took the training, and last year, whatever. And it was a nice PowerPoint, and very summarizes the law and everything else, so it was very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah,
I appreciate
Corey
that.
did a nice presentation, and I think that's what she's asking for
Yep.
is a copy of that.
A copy of that presentation.
Yep, so those are properties of Row
Okay.
and not the village. So
Oh, okay.
Corey, by him telling us that he will disclose that back to us, we thank Row for doing that.
Yes,
But
thank you.
normally that is part of their services that they provide to the village. So we'll get a copy of that and present it.
Great. Just to be well informed and know what we're
Yep,
actually
and then we're
speaking
gonna have
about
several
when that comes around.
trainings pertaining to new members and capital improvement plans in the near future,
Wonderful. Thank you.
as we have one opening still to be filled.
Thank you for,
Thank you so much.
thank you. Lori?
I really don't have anything to say tonight, other than Happy New Year, and I'm glad to see everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary.
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
I actually don't have anything to say either. Welcome, everyone. I know you. I'm gonna meet you guys, I guess, or just meeting. I really haven't, you know, I missed last meeting too. Basically just absolutely spaced and forgot it was going on. Could have been here. It wasn't. So I've now got 4 or 5 people. If I don't show up, text me, call me, throw something in my house. I'm like 2 minutes from here. I can be here. It's generally just 'cause I literally forgot. I put it off a week in my head somehow. I don't know how I do that with dates. So.
Mr. DeSoto?
Just like to welcome our new members and also congratulate our officers. And I think that's it.
All right. I guess, question for me is 502 North Saginaw. Is there anything been submitted moving forward from our approvals?
In regards,
Start time, what they're really think about,
502, I'm sorry, I was thinking of Mr. Montgomery's property, so I apologize, and that's 610, so, 502, yes, so, actually had discussion with them yesterday, and they are waiting for the lead and asbestos testing to come back. And that's it, their demolition permit is on hold until that is done, and then it'll be pretty rapid once that happens. I know, they've been in contact with Corey and myself, talking about the parking lot and some of the parking spaces and impervious surfaces, the sidewalks up front and such, so, I can tell you, as I think Mr. Clark stated, they are very well-oiled company, and I expect that to be a flawless project. Just being here about 10 years now, I'm very impressed with this development company.
okay. Yeah, I noticed Grangehaw got tore down.
Yes, sir.
So at least I saw some movement there. That's great. And Taco Bell has now opened and doing business. I'm sure there's lots of stuff they couldn't do just because time of year and things of that nature.
It's a temporary, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's all understandable. It's been brought before, and I know it has really nothing to do with the planning commission and or your responsibilities whatsoever. But is there anything that could move forward somehow by kicking someone in the seat regarding the road there by the bank that's always flooded?
Apollo.
Circle, yes.
Apollo Circle.
As you stated, it is not my lane, that would be utilities and DPW, and I think that is a private road, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even think we have upgrades for that, so.
But
I would
still,
have to look-
even private roads by mandate have to be maintained.
Yes, no, I'd have to look into it. I don't wanna speak without being educated on who and what and where and how.
If you can, I'd like to find out, just because, you know, it's really when we have heavy rains, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be that heavy, it really creates a hazard. You know, vehicles could hydroplane and all kinds of things. So,
And I think a big part of that too is, if you look on that road, there is zero curb and gutter.
zero curbing and,
Which means
you
no
know,
sewer,
drainage.
no stormwater drains.
but, you know, it might be as simple as them putting in a ravine there, you know, that would have some guarding to hold the water versus it being saturated on the road.
Yeah. I will look into it.
So, all right, anything from staff?
I do. The Historic District Commission has proposed a time change for their commission. They are gonna be voting at their next meeting to move their meeting from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And I was advised by administration that if this board is interested in that same move, we would make that an agenda item for our next meeting, for it to be put to a vote. If that is something that this commission is interested in, I have no problem entertaining it. It doesn't affect me one way or the other, but there was a commissioner on the HDC that it is a conflict with some parenting time, and I know we're all moms and dads, either today or at one point. I mean, we're always moms and dads, but if that is something that this board is interested in, we could definitely put it on an agenda item for a vote from this board.
I myself don't have an opinion one way or the other. I know people that drive any distance to get home from work. To go to 6 o'clock would make it awful tight because you don't get anywhere
Especially on
in the
today.
community, you know, if you're anywhere southeast or whatever, you know, in any time frame. So
It's just a comment.
Right, I would think that could make it tough on a lot of people, but again, it wouldn't affect me one way or the other.
Yeah,
Bother me anyway.
Well, if you're not opposed, then I'll just put it on the agenda for next month, or next meeting, and then I'll let you guys vote moving
We
forward, if
can
that
have
is
our
the
discussion.
desire. Or if you want it on there as an agenda item for discussion. It may not even need a vote. It's up to you guys. I'm just the
Put it
middleman.
on there as an agenda item, that way we can discuss it, and, you know,
See where it goes.
it's gotta be, since our time is basically volunteer time, wanting to serve the community, it still has to be convenient for everybody to be able to do that.
And then Nick stole some of my thunder. I think he did that on purpose because I made him come to the microphone. But as you know, Holly, downtown Holly is moving forward with the rebuilding. The hotel, west wall elevation is well underway. Trusses are on site. Andy's Place picked up a permit a couple weeks ago. That is a very unique project. They are actually building a steel structure inside of Andy's Place to encapsulate it from the inside out. So it'll protect the historic preservation and still keep its glory from the outside. So that's very exciting. I can also tell you the Moose is moving forward pretty rapidly as well. Balcony Roll Books just got their rough frame inspection. So it's exciting to see the progress. I know it's, you know, January almost 7 months later, but it's moving, so that's exciting. And then I know that we have some possible new future developments also coming to this board, hopefully sooner than later, so more to come with that.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Nice tease.
Yeah. And of course,
Make you want to show up?
I would like to welcome our new members. They've already been introduced. I came in last, but of course, I know I've spoken to both of them individually prior to tonight's meeting, and I think they're both going to be great assets, not only for our community, but for this commission.
All right, last item on our agenda being public comment again. I know we talked about removing that, but then we decided to, I think, leave it. Again, if there's anybody in the public that would like to get up and speak before us, you're more than welcome to again before we close the meeting to adjourn. Seeing again, no one rushing the mic.
Running up there, man.
All right, let's adjourn this.
So this is where I would normally go.